WellSeeker Pro now has the integrated functionality to remotely send and monitor downlinks on a specified rig, utilising the rig's control system. Currently, WellSeeker Pro can communicate with Innova's DrillLink software and downlink by either the mud pumps or the top drive on rigs utilising the Amphium and Cyber-based rig control systems. This video intends to guide the user through the process of installing and setting up the Innova remote client application on a device on the rig network, so that it can communicate with both DrillLink and WellSeeker Pro installed on a remote PC. The Innova remote client is only required if WellSeeker Pro PC is out with the rig network. WellSeeker Pro communication from a remote location is handled solely by the Innova remote client. This application will only deal with communications from WellSeeker Pro via the secure ICP API. All communication between WellSeeker Pro and the Innova remote client use TSL encryption, so transport layer security. Access to the Innova remote client requires a username and password for successful communication to be established. These credentials can only be supplied by Innova. Each rig location will be specified by a unique GUID, so a code, that is generated by Innova. The downlink control functionality is license enabled, meaning that only users with a valid license for the feature will be able to use it. A driller at the rig site will also have ultimate control as to whether the DrillLink system allows remote access or not, utilising an override switch in the DrillLink console on the rig floor. The rig contractor will require to install the Innova remote client on a device on the rig network. First of all, take the installer for the Innova remote client and place it on the desktop of that device. Then double left click to open up the installer, agree to the license terms and conditions and hit install. You can also read the license terms and conditions themselves by hitting this blue text. The installation process will then complete. When it's complete, select Finish. Once installation is complete, open up the Innova remote client application from the shortcut on the desktop. This opens up the Innova remote client dialog. First thing to do is input the credentials in the ICP configuration section. This is a username and password, and what this effectively does is it allows the Innova remote client to communicate with WellSeeker Pro via the ICP API. Once you've input those credentials, which you will have received from Innova or your company administrator, you would input the rig GUID. This effectively is a randomly generated number, and this is to ensure that anyone communicating with your rig has the necessary credentials and that your rig cannot get confused with any other. Ensure that the environment is set to production. This can be selected from the environment drop-down menu, and ensure production is checked. Next, we have the DrillLink configuration section. This section contains an IP address and port, and the IP address is the IP of the device that DrillLink software is installed upon, or a gateway device that communicates with DrillLink, whichever of those two. The port will always be 8080. Once you've input those credentials, you can then verify that you're connected to DrillLink using the connect and disconnect. So when you first start the software, it will be in a disconnected status. In order to check the credentials have worked, to log into DrillLink, well, this section here, you would hit connect, and should this section here say connected, then you have set up these credentials correctly. In order to do a full test, you would require a user with WellSeeker Pro to send a command and see that it's verified within this section here. i.e. they make changes within the downlink controls section and it gets verified by the Innova remote client in this message section. All of the inputs that you put in here can get saved to a configuration file by going to File, Save Config. it will save that config file, and that can be loaded by going File, Load Config, and selecting the saved file that you created. This application must remain open to function. If closed, the link between WellSeeker Pro and DrillLink will have also been closed.